Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. As you may know, X-Plane 12 Flight Simulator has released, so today I'm going to be doing the first look and review of the new Flight Simulator. So how this is going to work is I'm going to go through all the pros and cons of the Flight Simulator, and at the end of the video I'll give you my opinion, and we'll see if I recommend this Flight Simulator for you guys to get. So, starting with the pros. As you can already see from this outside view, the new lighting system, compared from X-Plane 11, is really good. Like, this is absolutely, like, borderline game changer right here. You can even see, like, on the runway, it's just the reflections of all the water and stuff. It's absolutely awesome. And then from different perspectives, how the light reflects off of different things. Probably, maybe even better than the Microsoft Flight Simulator, which is really tough to beat in terms of graphics, whatever they're called. It's really hard to beat, but this lighting model is just something else in terms of graphical awesome quality. Yeah. So another change that was made to the Flight Simulator, the new weather model. So it's not currently raining right now, but you can see just the reflections of the water on the runway. So let's go into the menu. Let's make it rain. Let's customize the weather and put it at severe precipitation, and let's add some rain. How are we gonna do that? I don't know, it should be raining anyways, but I don't know, it's not gonna let us. But anyways, weather model is pretty cool. Even on this sunny day, you can kind of see just the environment that it creates. Major step up from X-Plane 11. Now, compared to the Microsoft Flight Simulator, I would say the weather model there is probably better, but for X-Plane standards, it's pretty good, I would say. So moving on with the rest of the pros, some new scenery changes in general, like the 3D trees that were added. They don't make too much of a difference from far away, but if you look up close, you can really kind of see the details in them. Obviously, Microsoft Flight Simulator has had 3D trees for a pretty long time, so it's really nothing too crazy, but that's nice to see, because the previous version didn't even have 3D trees, which is pretty crazy to think about. 2017, no 3D trees. They did make some changes to the airport sceneries. They now have moving jetways. Can you believe it? It took them 5 years to add moving jetways into the simulator, but we do have them now, and that is pretty good. And yeah, those are just some of the scenery improvements that were made to the Flight Simulator. So if we go ahead and get back inside the airplane, the number one reason why people will choose this simulator over any other simulator, especially the Microsoft Flight Simulator, is the flight dynamics. X-Plane has had just way better, way more advanced flight dynamics than pretty much any simulator ever. And while X-Plane 12 doesn't really innovate in that sense, they really just ported over the flight dynamics from the previous one. Still, you're still getting the X-Plane flight dynamics that you know and love. So let's go ahead and showcase that. I know I can't really showcase it, but let's go ahead and take this airplane off so I can kind of give you an example of the flight model. So let's set our flaps. And just doing this kind of stuff is a lot more intuitive in X-Plane, I think. It's not just like click like in Microsoft Flight Simulator. The buttons actually kind of have functions. You have to pull them around and stuff. I think that's pretty cool. Maybe that's always been there. but coming from Microsoft Flight Simulator, that's pretty cool to see. So, okay, so let's release our parking brake. Flaps are set. Let's move up the throttles. Let's go to Toga. Obviously, we're on the new A330, which is new to X-Plane 12. It has some pros and cons, which I'll get into in a second. But let's go ahead and take off. So, should rotate at about 130 knots, I'd say. It's pretty good. We're using all the runway. As they said, we pay for all the runway, we use all the runway. That is a quote from Russian pilots. We're obviously Canadian pilots because we're in Air Canada, but same concept. So another pro I have to say when I first loaded up the simulator is that it's pretty much plug and play. You can just plug in your hardware and all your stuff, and it works right out of the thing. You don't really have to do too much configuration and setting up each button. It's kind of this similar process with Microsoft Flight Simulator. You do have to do some calibration and stuff like that, just with like your flight control surfaces, but that's pretty much it. You don't really have to assign every button to a certain thing. And look at that, it's raining. Like I said, another pro for the flight simulator. Really cool rain models and stuff. I really think it's pretty awesome. So, now that we've pretty much gotten down all of the pros, we gotta move into the cons. And man, there are a lot of cons. Starting off over in the cockpit of the new A330, as you eventually wander around and decide to do a flight in this aircraft, you're gonna eventually stumble upon the FMC. And if you wonder why I'm calling it an FMC instead of an MCDU for the Airbus, it's because it's literally a Boeing flight management computer. It's almost like they took the one from the 737 and they just stuck it in the A330 like it's nobody's business. Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's nowhere close to something that you would find in an Airbus, and it's kind of sad that this is what they've come up with. I know a lot of people were like, oh, this A330 is gonna be so realistic, and then were just disappointed when they got in the cockpit and they found out that the entire flight computer is based off of a Boeing aircraft, which I gotta say, major disappointment for the A330. Kind of just ruins all of the realism with this aircraft. Moving on is basically all of the graphics that I didn't mention. So if we hop out of the aircraft real quick, if we do hop out of the aircraft, let's go ahead and do that. Obviously the engine's really loud, and if you look down below us, the scenery has not changed pretty much at all. And I have to say, the scenery is pretty bad. They haven't changed it at all from the previous X-Plane 11. It's not satellite. It's just the really boring, repetitive scenery of X-Plane, which honestly comes nowhere close to the satellite scenery of the Microsoft Flight Simulator. Major con there. So, Microsoft Simulator obviously has the higher end, graphically, way higher end over this Flight Simulator. I gotta say, Microsoft Flight Simulator just destroys it in the graphical category. And even to the textures, if you just look at the textures in this cockpit, they are not even close to the Flight Simulator. It looks really outdated. Yeah, I mean, the lighting has been a pretty good improvement, but overall the textures are just still falling behind. They don't even come close. It's just there can't even be compared in my opinion. But moving on with the rest of the cons, just in general, it feels like a massive port over. It feels like just an update, to X-Plane 11, because what did they add? They added moving jetways, some new weather, some new lighting, and 3D trees, yep. And if we go outside, they have some new clouds, which actually I think are a major con, because they keep popping in and out, and they look really pixelated, and they're really bad. But yeah, they just added 5 new features, and they called it a brand new game, and charged you $60 for it. So, in my opinion, I don't recommend getting this flight simulator. So considering that Microsoft Flight Simulator and like the standard version and X-Plane 12 are gonna be at the same price, $60, I would definitely right now go with Microsoft Flight Simulator. If you want to make X-Plane good for a pretty long while now, you're gonna have to spend hundreds of dollars on add-ons and stuff just to bring up to the level that Microsoft Flight Simulator offers without spending a dime, honestly. That's what I think about it. You know, if you really are into flight model and realism and you want to use this as more of a training simulator, which, I don't know, it's a very small group of people that actually want to use it for that, but if you do want to do that, X-Plane is probably your best bet, but Microsoft probably takes the cake in every other category. So do I recommend this flight simulator at this point? It is a no from me. So if you liked my review and first look, make sure to like and subscribe, and let me know your thoughts on this flight simulator in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.